are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano,
host of Locked On Rays, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making the Locked On Rays podcast your first listen every day. And remember, the Locked On Rays podcast is free and available on all platforms, including YouTube at Locked On Rays. Also, be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Rays. And you can email us at lockedonrays@gmail.com. Well, Ulises, it was a historic moment last night for the Tampa Bay Rays as they secured the most regular season wins in franchise history at 98, to be exact. And to celebrate, we're going to stretch out our hands, reach out to the listeners, and do another mailbag episode like we did last week.
Why not? We really enjoy these. And regarding the 98 wins, that's really cool. That's really awesome. Now they can say without any doubt in anybody's mind that they are the best, at least regular season team in franchise history. And they've played like it. So it's really cool to see that being rewarded. They've got 4 more games, the triple digits. It's all that we want as fans to see at the top of the division. And I know that they want to see that in the clubhouse too. 4 games. They just need to win 2 more. And I know that they'll do it.
They can do it. They can do it. All right, let's get into the mailbag questions. We got a lot of them, and we will try our darndest to get to them all. This first one coming all the way from Scotland, unless it's a Scotland, Florida that I don't know about. I'm assuming the country Scotland. John MacNeil says, I am in Scotland and have been listening to pretty much every podcast for the last 2 seasons. You guys are amazing, and you should know how much you are appreciated. Thank you. Well, we appreciate you for listening as well. He says, I played baseball in Scotland for the Strathclyde Falcons, who are no longer in existence, actually. I've been following the Rays since a family holiday in Florida took me to the Trop in 2000. At the start of the season, you guys made a few predictions of how this season would go. I think it might be fun to revisit some of your start of season predictions and talk over how special this regular season has been. Ulises, I can tell you we will get to all of our preseason predictions and prognostications after the season. I don't know if we're going to run through everyone right now. I can say, I will put this on the record, I think I'm going to come out on top on the Mike Zunino one, batting over 200. I'll just pat myself on the back a little. There's a little cookie for you, John.
There you go.
Knowing that Ulises had zero faith, maybe negative faith in Mike Zunino, and he has come through. Not only with the batting average, but with the bombs as well.
I had sub 200 faith in Mike Zunino, so you take me on that one. I did a little recap on our prop bets from earlier in the season, John. And I can tell it's going to be, it's going to be a nail biter. I think 1 or 2 decisions are going to come out on who gets the cigar, so who gets the you're my boy blue beer case. So it'll be nice. It'll be nice, but it's going to be close. I think 1 or 2 categories, 1 or 2 prop bets is going to make or break, but we will definitely do that after the offseason.
And thank you for educating us, John, because Ulises, I don't know about you, but I had, quite frankly, no idea that there was organized baseball in Scotland. That's how naive and idiotic I am.
No, I didn't know that either, and that's really, really cool. Too bad that it's no longer in existence, that team. But no, that's awesome to keep growing the game, to keep doing that in every part of the country, in the world rather, because we this is a great sport and we love it.
Going to the mailbag. What do we have next, Ulises?
So we got Chase Ross. He says the 10th anniversary of Game 162 is upon us. I would love to hear your stories about that night. I remember for me, I was a junior in college in Gainesville, Florida. Of course, he was at the Swamp. But he was texting his Boston fan at the time. At the night. Do you remember where you were in Game 162, Kevin?
My story is very, very boring. Just like I missed Brett Phillips' Game 4 because I was at a wedding. Game 162, I think I was doing some radio stuff for the student radio station at USF in advance of a football game. I believe USF was getting ready to play Pittsburgh the next night. So I was doing some pre-recorded interviews to run for that next day. And I think I was simultaneously tuning in and out of the game. And once it got to 7-0, I did the old, I'm out, clunker alert, goodbye. And then I believe the actual comeback and game-winning victory, I was getting a late-night bite at Andros Food Hall, if that's still a thing, if that's still around. Yeah.
Okay.
The OG Food Hall that was open till like 2 or 3 a.m. and brought out all the dregs of society or of the university. And I think we might have been texting back and forth actually about that game. But yeah, I wasn't at the game. I wasn't watching intently. I was more in and out. So Ulises probably has a better story than I do, quite frankly.
Honestly, I mean, yeah, I watched the game. I was in my living room with my parents, and I remember just jumping up and down, just screaming at the TV as the comeback is unfolding. You know, from 7-0, you had Price on the mound, and everything's going to crap. And and then they start going at it. And Longo, you know, everybody talks about this 162 landing home run. And of course, why not? It's just epic, right? Mm-hmm. But that 3-run shot, that's the moneymaker. That's great. And you've got Dan Johnson there too. You've got the Sam Fold hit by pitch. If so many things happen in that game, it was a really cool microcosm of that whole season. It's a comeback story within a comeback story. So yeah, it was really cool to see some pictures from people. Although I will say this, Kevin, doesn't it seem like now there were so many people at that game 162? I was at that game. Really? Really? Because I mean, I see like a lot of people were at that game nowadays.
What are there, some deep fakes, revisionist history? Is that what's going on?
I don't know.
People watch a YouTube clip and they think they were part of the game. They were just as important as Dan Johnson and Evan Longoria.
There you go. That's exactly.
Oh my gosh. By the way, trivia question regarding game 162. There is only one person still in a Rays uniform from that game, from that September 28th, 2011 game. Do you know who that is?
Ooh, Scott Kersey, the bullpen catcher.
You're sort of half right. It's the bullpen coach, Stan Borowski. Yeah. So a little trickery, a little trick question there. Close enough. I'll give you half credit. You put your name on the paper, so give you credit for that one. Okay, this next one, email from Darren Hybert. He says, how can Shane Baz be eligible for the postseason? Thought he wasn't on the 40-man roster by the cutoff day. Can you break down how the Rays could get him in the game, or I guess the postseason series?
Well, he's replacing somebody who was eligible. I'm guessing it'll be Chris Archer. Mm-hmm. And this has been done before. It's not like, it's a newfound loophole. Teams have done this before. I believe the Rays have done it before as well. So I think it's more of a bureaucratic sign the paper, ask the commissioner, and then get it through, rather than like, will he or be eligible? Like, he's eligible. He's going to pitch in October. Everything is fine. It's just a bureaucratic piece of paper that needs to be signed.
Reading it right from the horse's mouth, MLB.com. Just a brief summary, just to make sure our facts and figures are correct. It says, in a typical season, any player who is on the 40-man roster or 60-day injured list as of 11:59 p.m. Eastern time on August 31st is eligible for the postseason. A player who doesn't meet said criteria for postseason eligibility can still be added to a team's roster in the postseason via petition to the commissioner's office if the player was in the organization on August 31st and is replacing someone who is on the injured list and has served the minimum amount of time required for activation. So
there you go.
Shane Baz for Chris Archer, the overpaid Chris Archer. Ooh. And there we go. And I think the Rays know what they're doing. This wasn't some fly by the seat of your pants.
We found it. We found a loophole. He can play. No. It's fine. It's been done before.
Yes.
It's okay.
They have smart people for this, for sure. All right, let's get to one more before we take a little breather here.
Yes.
It's your turn, Ulises. What do we have in the reach into that mailbag? What do we got?
We got Craft Cafe, who actually DM'd us on Instagram. He says, can't wait to attend the playoffs next week. Quick, fun question. I'm with you guys on the wave. I can't stand it, but I have to be active in the wave when I'm with my son, or he'll think I'm a dull dad. But here is the question. Would you participate in the wave if we played at home and have already clinched the division and the #1 seed? If nothing else was on the line, would you joyfully be active in the wave? Kevin?
Short answer, no.
Really?
Yes, I don't. Look, I'm not a wave guy. I don't have any problem. I don't want to say I don't have any problem with anybody doing the wave. I will accept it in certain scenarios and situations like the one that's being explained here, but I'm not raising my arms for anybody. I'm like an old school mob boss. I don't stand up for anybody. I will be, as everybody else, you could have 30,000 other people doing the wave, and I will be sitting there with my arms crossed with a smirk or a facial expression resembling Jim Leland. That's what I'm doing. I'm not doing any of this. Nope, not going to happen. I'm sorry.
This is pretty close to the scenario that I would be okay with doing it. I don't see myself still doing it, but I do understand his point about being a dull dad. Maybe that's the thing. When you're a dull, when you don't want to seem like a dull dad, you got to participate in the wave. And so we hear you, we see you, and that is okay. Good for you.
I don't think my dad had ever done the wave or would do the wave at a ballgame. What about your dad, Ulises?
I don't know. Maybe he would. I don't know. I think he honestly would do a Jim Leland crossing the arms kind of,
How about this?
Situation.
I will acknowledge the wave. So as the wave is coming around to our aisle or section, I'll take a little sip of whatever beverage I'm doing, and that'll be my little
drink.
That's the most I'm lifting my hands or
there
arms. Very good. That's what we'll leave it at. Okay, we want to tell you about an incredible app everyone who buys gas needs to know about. It's called Get Upside. Listeners can make up to 25 cents for every gallon of gas every time they fill up. Just download the free Get Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now. Use promo code BASEBALL, and that'll get you a bonus 25 cents per gallon on your first fill up. That means up to 50 cents cash back. Don't pay full price at the pump anymore. Get cash back using Get Upside. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code BASEBALL to get up to 50 cents per gallon cash back on your first tank. Okay, Ulises, moving along here. A question from Brian Stark. Why is Shane McClanahan not getting any Rookie of the Year love? He isn't my favorite choice. That goes to Randy Arozarena, of course. But he is 11-6, has more strikeouts than innings pitched, a whip around 1.25, and a sub 3.5 ERA. Is it because he is on the same team as Randy and Wander?
Yeah, I mean, I think when a team is this loaded with talent, Randy Arozarena made himself basically a household name, I think, if you followed baseball in 2020 by doing what he did. I mean, by becoming Barry Bonds in the 20 postseason games. That's what he did in the biggest stage that baseball has to offer. So that's one. And he's rookie eligible. So a lot of spotlight is going to go to him. Wander Franco, the back-to-back #1 prospect in baseball. That's going to have a lot of spotlight. So yeah, you're going to kind of, get third dibs on your own team. And then let's be honest, Luis Garcia from the Astros has just all around better numbers than Shane McClanahan. Right. So I understand maybe Sugar Shane should be getting a little bit more love than he is, but I also understand why he's not.
Right. Yeah. If we're talking about a pitcher, it's really Luis Garcia. I don't want to say it's not even close, but Garcia has the metrics, has the numbers, has the starts, has the innings pitched. And I mean, you look at pretty much everything and he is ahead of Shane McClanahan at this point. Although I will give credit to Shane for stepping into that de facto proverbial ace role after Tyler Glasnow went down. Well, again, I can't say I followed every single Astros series or game, but Garcia seems to have been settled in as the number 3-4 guy. Still very good number 3-4 guy, but I don't think the levy or the pressure was totally on. Hey, everybody else is injured, hurt, or traded. Our starting rotations and Sambles. Here you go, 24-year-old.
Yeah,
take the wheel and go from here. So there is a little bit of a different dynamic. And again, I believe Luis Garcia stayed pretty much healthy all year round. And let's also look. I don't know why. I get why people are still talking about Adolis Garcia, and this might have to be a question or a conversation with Klosky because Wander's making it sort of interesting in a way. It's not 100%. This might have to be a conversation for later.
Yes.
I will acknowledge that, but I don't get the Adolis Garcia thing. If I look at and see he's on a 100-loss team and he's got an on-base percentage that is 280 basically, and he's closer to 29 years old than 28 years old. Like, at what point do we say rookie? I get it, but I think there's better candidates out there than him. I mean, I would almost consider Ryan Mountcastle before Adolis, even though
Mountcastle and Garcia over Adolis Garcia for sure. Yeah, I agree with that. But I think this is Randy's award to lose. I think overall the rookie of the year has to be Randy. I mean, what he brings in defense. I know people have given him some crap defensively, but I mean, the catches that he makes sometimes, I know the routes are a little bit, flimsy sometimes, but he is not a negative out there. He really isn't. He's got a strong arm. He can make, he can save somebody's butt in the outfield quite a few times. So no, I think Randy Arozarena wins the Rookie of the Year award, and it's a shame for Sugar Shane, but that's okay.
Yeah.
If we were able to quantify the pressure that he felt when he has nobody around him in the rotation, and then the pressure that Luis Garcia had when he has people around him, and then you could quantify that pressure and then the numbers kind of, in a way, maybe you could say it's a little bit closer, but unfortunately we don't have a way to quantify that. So that's a shame.
What I will say, a couple things. Randy, if you look at his stats among rookies, I know that Bally Sports had a terrific graphic on where he ranks in terms of all the numbers, hits, doubles, stolen bases, average, games played, all those sorts of things. I mean, he's right up at the leaderboard in a lot of different categories. Also, I read little ditty from Keith Law from The Athletic, in his American League Rookie of the Year rankings go like so. Wander number 1, Luis Garcia number 2, Randy Arozarena number 3. So I will leave it at that. Again, this might have to be a conversation that we have with Klosky later on this week. Okay, Ulises, we went to Scotland, so let's go to Japan, shall we?
Why don't we do that? Mark Chaput, I think it's a French last name, Chaput, or Mark C from Japan. Hey guys, just listening to your podcast about the back-to-back division championships. I'm flying in from Japan from some ALDS action. I believe he's going to go to game 1. Might not make it to game 2, but he could. Do I qualify for a parking pass too? Keep up the good work. Well, Mark, that's awesome. Thank you for listening to the podcast. How do you feel about that parking permit?
Look, I think I've alluded to this, and I'm going to put my proposal out on the table for the Rays. If you are a Rays fan and you're attending a game and you don't live in St. Petersburg or Pinellas County, you should get discounted parking.
Yeah.
25% off, 50% off, something. If you can prove that I drove in from New Tampa, I drove in from Wesley Chapel, I drove in from Lakeland, I flew in and drove in from Japan.
Right.
Either that or, again, we talk about promoting the team and trying to build some visibility. If your car has a bumper sticker or a Rays tag or something like that, you get a little, hey, we'll knock $5 off. We'll knock $7 off. We'll knock $10 off. Look, I get that it's MLB, pro sports, parking's expensive, but it really shouldn't have to be. And he's making somebody flying in from Japan. Make some accommodations here. And I don't think I would tell Mark that, hey, just show up a half hour late, but I think the Rays are on to us on that one, especially it being a playoff game. Man, they might be taking parking. They might be taking your cashola all night long. You arrive at 9:30.
Yeah.
There'll be an attendant out there.
Oh no.
Asking for your credit card. So I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, no, that's I hope to meet you, Mark. So again, reach out to us, and when you know which games you're definitely going to, and we'll definitely meet in the postseason.
Ulises, we went to Scotland. We went to Japan. Should we go to Germany next?
Ooh, let's do that.
How about that? Peter from Berlin, Germany says, quite ironic how the schedule makers lined up the last two series of the season, being that it will be our two playoff opponents. I mean, it's right there in front of us. There they are, 2 series away. They then turn around and the same 2 at home. Didn't we just do this with Detroit and Toronto?
Yeah, there's one thing in MLB that would be kind of cool to be. It'd be the scheduler.
Yeah,
I think how they make the schedule for 162 games for 30 teams, and the travel secretary. We know that George Costanza had a damn of a time be working for the Yankees doing that. I feel like that would be a really cool fly on the wall situation. How do they make the calendars? Because sometimes they don't really make sense. But then again, do you want to coordinate 30 teams, 162 over 4 time zones? I don't think so.
I'm sure there's some sort of algorithm involved and a lot of consultation with the other owners and teams. What I will say, yeah, the Rays certainly, if they weren't in the position that they are in now, it'd be like, man, we got to face the Astros and the Yankees on the road to end the season. But it's not like other teams have it all off easy either. The Astros, for example, they have to play us. Then they have to play Oakland. The Yankees, they're playing Toronto now, and then they have to face us. So that's not easy. The team that got it the easiest, quite frankly, were the Red Sox. They've got Baltimore in the bag, and then they're playing Washington.
And they already lost the first game on the anniversary of Game 162. Chase, the Red Sox lost. So there you go. The Robert Andino curse still lives on in Baltimore.
And there's no guarantee that the Rays will face the Yankees or the Astros.
That's right.
In the playoffs. They very well could face Boston or,
the White Sox.
Yeah, or the White Sox. It lines up like it could be the Yankees and the Astros, but that is no guarantee. You can throw everything out the window once the postseason starts with that. All right, we'll move along here. First, we got to tell you about BetOnline. BetOnline, it is your number one spot for all the pro and college football action this season. With a new updated site and interface, even more odds, prompts, and contests, BetOnline.ag continues to be the number one source for everything football, aka Ulises' favorite sport, or that's football. Head over to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive a 100% welcome bonus. That is double your initial deposit just for signing up. Don't forget to use the promo code NFL100. That is NFL, the numerals 100. BetOnline, it is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all of your favorite sports, and they are your online sportsbook experts.
If there's something that us and all of these mailbag writers have in common, is that we all like to save time and money, and that's why we got to use Rock Auto. Why choose to spend 30, 50, even 100% more for the same parts from a chain store or a car dealership? That just doesn't make sense. Rock Auto is a family business serving do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years. Rock Auto prices are reliably low for every customer. They have everything you could ever need: brake parts, tail lamps, motor oil, and even new carpet. Go explore their easy-to-use website today to find the solution to your auto part needs. Go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car or truck. Make sure to write "Locked On" in their "How Did You Hear About Us" box so they know that Kevin and I sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. rockauto.com.
Ulises, we went to Scotland, we went to Japan, we went to Germany. Shall we go to Louisiana next?
Let's get some Cajun in us. Noah Worley says, I live in Louisiana and have been a Rays fan since 2008. Great year to be a Rays fan. I've only been able to go to 2 games since then, and there's one thing more disturbing than the crappy venue, and that's the lack of marketing for the team. Me and my family went to a game this year, and I saw one sign for the Rays in Tampa and St. Pete. Nothing outside the stadium, nothing downtown, nothing in Tampa, literally nothing. You wouldn't even know there's an MLB team in the area. It's troubling that ownership is willing to advertise the idea of sister cities, but won't even advertise their own team, who just so happens to be really, really good. I guess that's my major gripe right now. The team needs a marketing strategy ASAP. Brett Phillips is a marketer's dream. Use that, dude. Have some appealing promotions stat. Well, first of all, thank you, Noah.
Yeah.
I think we've agreed with the lack of marketing on this team. And hey, that Sister City poster is not a reality anymore. Fans, you were heard. Good job. So that's not happening anymore. But I agree, Kevin. I mean, the marketing, the fact that we don't see billboards of anything but Bucks and Bolts, which is awesome. That's exactly what it should be. There should be some raise up stuff in Hillsborough and Pinellas County.
Yeah, it should be all over the place, especially with what the Rays are doing right now and have done the last couple of seasons. And I don't want to call out anybody within the marketing department because I'm sure they're all talented. They're all great. They all have special skills. I think if I had to put my finger on it, it would go back to the resources or lack thereof that ownership is or isn't giving them. You can't make chicken salad out of chicken bleep. I think that might be. I would love to know what their marketing budget is compared to the rest of baseball and other professional sports organizations. And,
Kevin, I got a great idea.
What's that?
Take the parking money. Use that for billboards in Hillsborough and Pinellas County, right? I mean, it's a lot of money that you're getting for parking. How much is a billboard anyway? How much is it? If you're a Locked On Race listener and you're listening to this and you're like, hey, I actually know how much a billboard would cost for X amount of days or X amount of size, let us know. DM us. Go to lockedonrace@gmail.com. Show us a little voice memo or a couple lines. I want to know. I want to know how much a billboard is.
And you know what? Look, I think it was who did we have on? Michael Lortz. He alluded to lean into some of the minor league promotions, have some fun with it, and share those promotions too. Like whenever there's a first responders or military or nurses or teachers appreciation day and they get discounted or free tickets, I have no idea that that's happening. Like the PR window of that is, okay, that's going on tonight. I had no idea about it. I mean, there should be some huge advance notice. And Noah talks about Brett Phillips. Yeah, that's a guy you can market. So is a guy named Randy Arozarena, Wander Franco, Nelson Cruz. You've got a trio of all-stars from this past season. It should be easier to do. I would get it during the lean years.
Sure. Like when you have Rocco Baldelli and CeCe, you're like, oh my God.
Will Rhymes, how are we going to market him? But
honestly, what's frustrating is that they have really talented people all over the Rays organization, the front office, but like the social media team is the best in the league. Like hands down, the photography that happens at Tropicana Field and following the team is unreal. The videos that they make, they hype you up. You want to run through a damn brick wall. They're really talented. But like you said, it's the money behind it. They're not really being given the money, the opportunities to put billboards. If they can make this much crazy good content on social media platforms, I'm sure that they can come up with some killer advertisement using billboards, using that old thing that we called, driving down the highway and looking at things outside.
What I'll also say is it seems like what I've heard anyway is that there's like a mass exodus within the Rays PR and social media department. I can't confirm or deny that, but I've heard that people have left as of late, even with what the Rays are doing with all their success on the field. And look, I've been to a Tampa Tarpons game, and they lean into the promotions. They have a promotion that is all you can drink beer and wine until the opponent scores a run. So if you are the Rays and you want to schedule that to is Yarbrough on the mound? Okay, let's do it for that game so we don't get hosed on the beer and wine sales. But things like that. Look, I give them credit for the $10 tickets and the $5 Bud and Bud Light.
Yeah, it was great.
And popcorn. Do more of the player-themed nights, okay?
Yeah.
Andrew Kittredge fake beer giveaway.
Yes. 100%.
JT Chagua French fries are discounted. They're half off.
There you go. I like that.
Tyler Glasnow pitching. Give them free sunscreen for everybody. Little sunscreen thing. Look, lean into it. Have fun. That's part of it. You have to embrace some of the goofiness.
Yes.
That is baseball and part of this game. Yandy Diaz night. Everybody gets a Built Bar. There we go.
There you go. I like that.
See, look, why aren't the Rays hiring us? Quite frankly, I don't know. So man. I'm just throwing out dingers left and right.
Yeah,
here.
you are.
Anyway, okay, let's move along here. Rich Perks says, so all the stadium talk got me thinking of a similar situation with my football team, the Buffalo Bills. I'm sorry. For about 3 years, all the fans have been hearing is Buffalo needs a new stadium. Well, this year, a news article was written about the Bills moving to Austin, Texas. The fans went ballistic for a team that has made the postseason 3 of the last 4 years and have a quarterback who finished second in MVP voting. The last thing the fans want to worry about is stadium talk and relocation talk. I know Rays fans are passionate, and I know they would go ballistic if the team ever moved.
Well, they went ballistic on social media, and that's awesome. That's why the sign is not happening, which is fantastic news. It is not happening. Stu apologized on the radio, on the pregame show to Neil Solondz. And so, that's great. You're right, Rich. Fans will show up when they need to, at least vocally. The only thing that we need to hear is a little bit more commitment from the Rays front office and ownership on what the future will be. And fans, they have to do their best to show up. I have no doubt in my mind that the Trop is going to be rocking in October. I have no doubt in it. That's going to be sellout crowds on sellout crowds, and that's going to be fun.
And I hate to say this, the Rays fan base would go ballistic, and they are passionate, and they will come out in droves for the postseason. And you know what? I don't think ownership cares. I think what they care about is finding a place that will give them a fully funded stadium or two. And if it means relocating in the middle of the night, like the Ursays took the Colts from Baltimore to Indianapolis, which I appreciate growing up in Southern Indiana, they will do that.
Yes.
If they have to move to Nashville, they will. And if that is where the best deal is and makes the most business sense, they will certainly do that, and they'll leave us behind. They'll leave us behind. Okay, I guess we got another stadium question here, Ulises.
Yes. Okay, so last one of the day is by RaysFan311@gmail.com. I think he goes by Ray, but I don't know if he's just doing that as a pun. But here we go. Ray says he talks about potential trade returns for both KK and Wendell. We'll probably hold off on those talks until the playoffs are over, Ray. He also says, I hear you guys say that the Rays have a contract with the Trop through 2027. Does that mean that they're safe until then? Yes, they will be playing at the Trop until 2027, Ray. I don't see Tampa building a stadium, but I also don't see the players' union agreeing to the sister city nonsense either. Well, then you're just like most Rays fans, Ray. We don't see, the MLBPA saying yes to that right now. The city of Tampa doesn't, is not jumping for joy for giving tax-paying dollars to create a stadium. So yeah, you're right there with us, man. That's the majority of Rays fans right now.
Yeah. Okay. So the Tropicana field lease is pretty clear. The Tampa Bay Rays cannot play home games anywhere else through 2027. However, they could technically move to another location in Pinellas or Hillsborough counties and pay some sort of multi-million-dollar fee.
Right.
And that would be their way out of it. But as I understand it, they can't play in Nashville. They can't play in Portland. They can't play in Charlotte. They can't play in San Antonio. They can't play in Montreal before 2027.
And again, if the Oakland, just look at the other Bay Area, Oakland. Look what's happening with them. I believe their lease is as ironclad as the Rays, but it's only until 2024, and they're having issues all throughout 2021. So with 3 years to go, they're having a bunch of meetings in city council and all that. So 3 years from now in 2024, that's probably when the heat is going to be the hottest, just like it is right now in Oakland. So just let's look at what's happening in Oakland with the stadium, and then we can kind of go from there, knowing what to expect from the Rays ownership and city council and all of that.
Yeah, and he also makes a good point about the players union. That is a big consideration here. Not only do I think Rays players, they would dislike having to navigate multiple countries during a season. So do the Yankees and the Red Sox and so many other teams. I mean, I think about how many players might have homes, secondary homes in the Tampa Bay or Florida area. And I just, look, I think we're on the same page on that. That is, I think it's a play. It's a ploy.
Yep.
And now I will also say that if there is one professional sports franchise that could pull this off, that could navigate this, it would be the Rays at the end of the day.
Yeah, it really would be.
You know what? We do have one last minute question that we got on Twitter from Chris Worthen, and I think, Ulises, it's a simple one that we can answer. He says, will Randy have another postseason this year as he did last year? Short answer, no.
That was historic. Enjoy it for what it was. Don't expect players to just become Barry Bonds every offseason. That just doesn't happen. No, enjoy it. Watch the clips. Get some popcorn. Make a DVD out of it. That's not happening again.
I don't think a 377 batting average, a 1273 OPS, 10 home runs in 20 games, 20 postseason games
That's unreal.
is going to happen.
That's stupid. Like that's stupid numbers. No, that's not happening, Chris. I'm sorry to tell you. Somebody, hopefully he gets hot. Hopefully Wander gets hot. Hopefully Nelson Cruz gets hot. Lau, Meadows, take your pick. But nobody's getting that hot.
Now, I fully expect Randy to have a strong postseason. I think he's the type of guy.
Sure.
We saw it. Hey, late September, Arozarena is heating up. Yeah. I think he lives for these types of moments, but let's not expect that type of production ever again from really anybody.
He broke records.
Yes.
He became sorry, Chris. Sorry.
Yeah, and what's funny is Randy, a Rookie of the Year candidate, this will actually be his third postseason. He played with the Cardinals for a couple games in 2019. Of course, we remember 2020. And assuming that Randy doesn't get hurt within the next couple of days, he will be playing in 2021. There we go. A lot of questions, a lot of answers. Hopefully they were satisfactory to you all. And we might even do another mailbag next week. So, and Ulises, there are multiple ways that people could reach out to us with questions, right? They could email us. They could do the Twitter thing, Instagram.
Anything.
They could do it all.
I mean, you got our Twitter handles right below our names. Mine's at Sambrano Ulises. Kevin Weiss also has his. Locked on Race is the podcast on Twitter and on Instagram. You can DM us there on both platforms. And of course, we always give a little bit priority on lockedonrace@gmail.com because you can shoot your voice memos there. You can actually be a little bit more lengthy. Peter from sunny Berlin has given us some good emails. They're long, so we can't say them all, but they're very entertaining. So make sure to do that.
Yeah, again, to reiterate, you can reach out to us on any platform, but we do love the emails. So lockedonrace@gmail.com or the 60-second or less voice memo that can also easily, simply be emailed to lockedonrace@gmail.com. Okay. Thank you again for making the Locked On Rays podcast your first listen every day. And we will be back on Friday. In the meantime, check out the Locked